India either becomes a great power or disappears, and India in its current position can't play a second-class role in the world.
मतलब आपके जीवन का ये स्वर्णिम काल, आपकी उम्र के ये 25-30 साल भारत के सपनों को पूरा
Nehru's famous words seem to have set the tone for nearly all successive Indian governments. However, India has always been influenced by the globalist elite ever since the so-called independence, and today is no different. The globalist elite are back, pulling strings, and that's one of the main reasons why Eastern nations haven't risen to true power and glory.
Modi and business tycoon Adani are close allies. Their fate is intertwined.
Since the beginning of 2023, relations between the Indian authorities and the globalist elite of the Western world have been continuously deteriorating. All this time, the Western globalist elite have ignored the crimes of Narendra Modi, but all of a sudden, they've awakened.
Modi is silent on the subject, but he will have to answer questions from foreign investors and in Parliament.
Recall the documentary by the BBC on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who the BBC accused of genocide of Muslim Gujaratis under the watch of Narendra Modi. Funny how they were quiet about this for a long while, but all of a sudden this props up.
The report on the Gujarat riots of 2002.
Be specific.
Is
I'm
India
going to come back hard
taking
at
up
you.
this report with UK?
Which report?
This was followed by George Soros, who called Narendra Modi an authoritarian ruler and an enemy of democracy.
India is an interesting case. It's a democracy, but its leader, Narendra Modi, is no Democrat. Inciting violence against Muslims was an important factor in his meteoric rise.
Then there was an economic attack by America through the so-called independent analysts from Heidelberg Research, an investment research firm, who called out the largest Indian conglomerate, Adani Group, headed by businessman Gautama Adani, close to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as a fraudster. Adani was accused of concealing accounting data, fraud with shares, and corruption. The news was plastered all over the media. As a result, the capitalization of the business fell at a rate of $100 billion per week.
Hindenburg accused Adani Group and its billionaire founder and chairman of a brazen stock manipulation and accounting fraud scheme run over decades, partly through the use of shell companies. It also said that Adani Group has been investigated for misusing taxpayer funds.
Then, of course, there was an attack on the territorial integrity of India. 40 years after the assassination of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, separatists advocating the creation of an independent Sikh state of Khalistan in Punjab have come out of nowhere. The situation escalated just the other day. In Canada, separatists attacked a police station, and the Canadian authorities practically aligned themselves with anti-Indian demonstrators on their territory, providing these separatists with international cover.
I ask you, suppose the roles were reversed. Suppose one of those countries had this done to one of their missions. What do you think they'd be saying?
So what happened? Everyone thought India was the West's weapon against China. India was the closest friend to the West in the East. The blue-eyed boy was Narendra Modi. But that's not the case. You need to remember one thing. India is a brown country, and the globalist elite will never consider Indians on the same level playing field. The global bloc of democracies, with the promise of the transfer of production from China and multi-billion-dollar investments, are only using India in this big game. And it's now up to India to play its cards right, otherwise things will become extremely horrible out there. You see, India wants to get richer and is ready to accept the production capacity that the West is going to withdraw from China. But at the same time, India seeks to gain access to good technology. India is ready to participate in the containment of China and join America, however, on an equal basis, because India will not tolerate being dictated by the West. And it truly shows the Indian attitude. After all, India has a high status in BRICS, and continues to develop economic ties with the Russians without any concern to Western sanctions. The West, of course, don't like all that. So what do the Western globalists want out of India? Well, it's quite simple. They want to move production facilities to India, but without any transfer of modern technologies. Without landing production on Indian soil, the globalists don't want to repeat the same mistakes made in China and will not force India's rapid development as a new world factory. The globalists want India to contain China, but as a junior and controlled partner, a little like the current Pakistani government who's providing weapons to Ukraine. In the future, the globalists want India to withdraw from the BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation, then join AUKUS and fully support the globalist elite position on the Eastern world. The globalists want India to play the role of a lapdog, and this involves abandoning Prime Minister Modi's Hindutva ideology.
भारत माता की भारत माता की
The globalists don't like the idea of India making attempts to introduce Hindi as the main state language in the country. After all, Narendra Modi is a Gujarati. He speaks Gujarati, can easily speak Gujarati. However, from state to state, he's speaking Hindi to unite the entire nation. And the globalists don't like that at all. They want English to dominate. The globalists want total control of Indian politics. Fully control the business elite, the top political parties, and most importantly, the judicial system. By controlling the courts, globalists can at any time turn top politicians and business leaders into political corpses, as clearly seen in Pakistan.
भारत माता की भारत माता की
The next move is to remove Prime Minister Modi from power, who rightly or wrongly is turning out to be a national leader. And there's many Indians out there today who are saying he's no less than Mahatma Gandhi or Jawaharlal Nehru, which I don't agree with, but that is typically the mainstream Indian opinion. And if Modi wins the elections in 2024, the vision that the globalists have will be irreversible. The turmoil which is coming to India is guaranteed, and it's going to be very messy because the globalist elite have radical views about India, and so does Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It will be like watching two demons fight each other. The globalists need India, but without Narendra Modi, without his ideology, his associates and his party. In the coming months, you'll see the global deep state make attempts to destabilize India and radically weaken the current government in order to get an obedient and post-colonial government after the 2024 elections, capable of only imitating the protection of traditional values and national identity. The elite in India will be told that a change of leader will help solve their problems and restore relations with the West. Stormy clouds are gathering, my friends. The political situation in India is going to escalate. The globalist elite will obviously rely on the opposition, on the supporters of so-called secularism. However, the opposition is already making it clear that it's not prepared to go beyond certain boundaries, as the globalist elite love colour revolutions, and that's not what India wants. The court's verdict against opposition leader Rahul Gandhi, who was recently given 2 years in prison for personally insulting Narendra Modi, speaks volumes. The time of civilized relations in Indian politics is over. A tough fight begins. The outcome of this fight will determine the future of India, not only for the next 5 or 6 years, but also for a much longer period. If you're out there in India, stay safe, because the coming months will be extremely testing for you all. Thanks for listening to the Independent Islamic Republic. Assalamu alaikum, Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, Khush Amadid, and have a wonderful night.